The courtroom that felt like home. In the heart of Providence, Rhode Island, there was a courtroom where justice didn't come cold and impersonal. Here, people expected stern glares, sharp gavel strikes, and the finality of punishment. Instead, they found warmth, humanity, and an unwavering sense of fairness. Judge Frank Caprio, often called America's nicest judge, transformed ordinary court sessions into moments of profound human connection. Every case, no matter how small, a parking ticket, a minor traffic infraction, became an opportunity to see the person behind the violation. To some, this approach seemed soft. To others, it was revolutionary. "I treat people the way I would want to be treated," Caprio said. And in those simple words lay a philosophy that would touch millions around the world. Why this matters now. Most people rush through life measuring success by wealth, power, or prestige. Yet, as Caprio demonstrated, the true measure of a life well lived is how you treat others, especially when you hold authority. In today's world, the cost of staying indifferent is high. Relationships crumble, communities fracture, and the small acts of kindness that could have changed lives never happen. By witnessing Judge Caprio's courts, one learns that there's more value in compassion than in condemnation. In the next few minutes, you'll discover lessons from his life that can transform the way you approach money, failure, relationships, and legacy. You'll see why leading with empathy isn't just moral, it's practical. From humble beginnings, Frank Caprio's story didn't start with fame or fortune. Born in 1936 to Italian immigrant parents, he grew up in a household where hard work and decency were non-negotiable. His father ran a small fruit stand, his mother managed the home with care and discipline. They instilled in him that life's worth isn't counted in dollars, but in integrity and effort. Young Frank understood that life would demand sacrifices. He didn't have money to waste, and every opportunity required perseverance. Yet, it was precisely this upbringing that shaped his belief that the law should be a tool to help people, not merely punish them. "I'm only doing what my father taught me, balance the equities and treat people with decency and respect," he once said. Money, misunderstood. In a world obsessed with wealth accumulation, Caprio offered a different lesson: money is a tool, not a trophy. In his courtroom, a fine wasn't merely a financial transaction, it was a chance to understand the human behind the payment. A single mother unable to pay a ticket, a student juggling work and study, a retiree struggling with limited income, all became stories of resilience. He reminded the world that true wealth isn't measured in bank statements but in compassion. By easing the burdens of others, he demonstrated that money, when used wisely, creates more than comfort, it creates dignity. The power of failure. Caprio's courtroom was also a mirror for failure. Many who entered felt their mistakes defined them. But for him, mistakes were a starting point, not a conclusion. "We all make mistakes. What matters is how we respond to them," he said. A young driver, anxious and apologetic, once appeared for a minor traffic violation. Instead of condemning her, Caprio listened. He acknowledged the stress of her life, offered guidance, and allowed her a chance to make amends beyond the courtroom. For that driver, and countless others, failure became feedback, a lesson to grow rather than a sentence to despair. The lesson here is profound. Life will knock you down, but your response, your empathy, your resilience, is what defines your character. Relationships that matter. Judge Caprio's life teaches that relationships are the backbone of influence. Every interaction in his courtroom was a relationship, even if it lasted only a few minutes. He showed that connecting with people, truly seeing them, transforms both parties. "Every small act of kindness I give creates a better world and a better me," he would say. In his courts, there were no cases without stories, no tickets without context. Caprio understood that nurturing relationships, whether through listening, empathy, or fairness, is the key to enduring impact. This is a lesson beyond the gavel. Your influence grows exponentially when you invest in the people around you. Seek out mentors, help your peers, and never underestimate the power of small gestures repeated consistently. Systems that build character. Caprio's brilliance wasn't accidental, it was systematic. His identity was clear: "I am a servant of justice and mercy." His standards were unwavering: respect every person, listen before judging, and balance fairness with compassion. Daily routines reinforced these principles. Early mornings studying case law, afternoons in the courtroom, evenings reflecting on decisions. He tracked nothing in spreadsheets, his metrics were human lives improved. Yet this simple system created consistency that led to extraordinary outcomes. For anyone seeking growth, the lesson is clear: build identity-aligned systems. Define who you are, set non-negotiable standards, and create routines that reinforce them. Over time, these habits compound into character that can influence the world. One hard thing daily. Compassion is not always easy. Caprio often faced criticism from peers who called him soft or emotional. Yet he embraced discomfort. Every act of mercy required courage, sometimes to bend rules without bending ethics. He demonstrated the principle of one hard thing daily. One small act of courage, repeated consistently, becomes compounding strength. For viewers, this translates into small but brave choices: offering help when it's inconvenient, speaking up when silence is easier, forgiving when resentment calls. Kindness is the one gift that costs nothing but means everything, he reminded us. Courage and empathy are daily decisions, not occasional acts. Lessons in legacy. For Judge Caprio, legacy wasn't in fame or accolades. It was in lives touched and hearts lifted. His grandchildren, his children, and the citizens of Providence all carry the ripple effects of his choices. We rise by lifting others, he said, and in that simple truth lies the blueprint for meaningful life. Legacy, as he showed, isn't about what you leave behind in accounts or property. It's about what you imprint on others, the lessons, values, and humanity you inspire. Every kind word, every fair decision, every act of mercy compounds into a long-lasting impact. Overcoming roadblocks. Watching Caprio's life, it's easy to think, I'm too busy, too small, too ordinary. Yet his story proves otherwise. He started with nothing, guided by principles, not privilege. And every act of compassion was a choice, not a gift of birth. For anyone hesitant to act, start with one small thing today. Listen more than you speak. Forgive one small grievance. Give a little, help one person. These micro steps are the foundation of lifelong impact. The July 30th 90-day plan. Judge Caprio didn't measure his days in weeks or months, but we can adopt his principles systematically. 7 days. Observe your life. Notice where compassion is absent, where judgment dominates. Remove one negative interaction, add 2 positive actions. 30 days. Build one skill that improves your ability to help others: listening, patience, or empathy. Complete small projects that lift someone's burden. Set weekly reflection reviews. 90 days. Commit to one major goal aligned with service and impact. Track your growth and hold yourself accountable, like Caprio held the court accountable to justice tempered with mercy. This plan turns inspiration into measurable action, echoing Caprio's life philosophy. Closing identity shift. In Judge Frank Caprio's courtroom, the gavel was not just a tool, it was a symbol. A symbol of the choice to lead with empathy over punishment, compassion over cruelty. Watching his life, one realizes the power of small, consistent acts to transform the world. The old self judges and measures by transactions. The new self leads with humanity, sees people first, and understands that success is not the amount accumulated, but the lives improved. I am the person who lifts others as I rise, you can now declare. Call to action. Reflect on your life. Where can you emulate Caprio's compassion today? Comment one small act of mercy or kindness you will take this week. Subscribe, share, or connect with others who are committed to living with empathy. Take the first step in building a legacy that matters, not just to you, but to the countless lives you touch.